And as we speak, yet another terror attack has taken place in Poonch. There are 5 fatalities, and our sources are telling us that a further attempt at infiltration using civilian buildings across the LOC cannot be ruled out. Cleanup operations are underway. For obvious reasons, there's X we can report or share about that until they are concluded, because the situation is still hostile. When attacks take place on Indian soil against those who are in uniform serving to defend the country, the question then is not only on the prevention and further protocols, further actions of which we have a long compendium of case history to learn and evolve from, but what is going to be the immediate tactical action plan, the strategic action plan, and the larger plan for accountability. Now, you can imagine that in every terror outpost along the LOC, in every Pakistani ranger, bad post, all of them will be shivering tonight, not from the cold. They'll be shivering because they know that at a time and place of our choosing, Qayamat is coming. Now, when that happens, how that happens, I don't know. But we can certainly posit commentary and conversation on what accountability that the Pakistani state, the Pakistani army needs to be made to bear in all other than military means. What now needs to take place? Joining us on the broadcast to have this conversation, Major General Sudhakar ji is with us, Major General A.K. Sivach, Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, and Kuldeep Khoda, former DGP of the J&K Police, joining us on the broadcast. General Sudhakar, let me begin with you. Of course, I'll join you and others in condolences to the families. What now, sir?
Rishabh, it's a very painful narrative to recount, and my prayers, solemn prayers and condolences for the departed souls. And all I would say at this point in time is that India should calibrate its response, not in haste. Like you have very correctly articulated in your opening statements, that will hit where it hurts the most, to a place of our choosing and a time of our convenience. This time there is no comeback. Pakistan will be, as it is, it's already in turmoil. It won't even know where hit it. Number 2, we need to identify our national interest, the pending agendas, anything that we do in response to this particular terrorist activity which is taking place, any kind of escalatory matrix that India adopts must contribute to fulfill the long pending agenda of Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Gilgit Baltistan. Number 3, these terrorist attacks are taking place towards Rajouri side. I'm conscious of the fact that we have one of the panelists who knows every inch of ground. General Shivaji is going to give his perspective although, but I personally feel that this is a very serious attempt on part of the Pakistan to activate the IB sector. IB sector being very close to where the actual operations are ongoing currently. So that has got a serious ramification, as they have miserably failed along the line of control, and I don't think they will ever succeed. Once the IB sector is activated, I would say that as per the latest inputs and the intelligence that is flowing in gradually or incrementally, there is a presence of footprint of Chinese soldiers, which has been reported along the line of control. And I won't be surprised to actually call it out that their footprints are also increasing towards the run of Kutch.
Yeah, we know that coincidentally, ladies and gentlemen, a major Chinese company has been allocated large plots of land very near Sir Creek. What a coincidence. Why would the Chinese be having large plots of land near Sir Creek? Who knows? It could be a very innocent purpose. I don't know. I don't know about the Chinese troops. We can speculate, we can assume, but we've not had a statement from any official sources. But like I said, it won't be a leap of the imagination. So let me get Khodaji into this conversation. Kuldeep ji, what do you think is going on? It's the middle of December. By general measures, these are supposed to be quiet weeks in the death of winter. What do you think they're doing that they're trying to escalate it in the middle of December?
One thing is which we have to understand in this is that the attacks have been concentrated around Rajouri and Poonch, especially during last 2 years and especially this year. And it's the army which is coming increasingly under attack. The security forces have been doing an excellent job, and in Kashmir, the terrorism is at lowest ever levels. And Pakistani elements have not been able to succeed in their designs in Kashmir. So one of the reasons that they are wanting to shift their focus to Jammu area, Rajouri and Poonch happens to be close to the line of control. And in fact, the point where this incident has taken place, Dera Ki Gali, this is not far away from line of control. And if we see the matrices of last few incidents which have taken place during last 2 years in Rajouri and Poonch, all these point out to one interesting thing is that is the incidents along which these fatalities have taken place, attacks have taken place. It appears that most likely Thana Mandi area is the area where from they find it convenient to infiltrate. And this should put our focus on the anti-infiltration grid. Because what's happening is that they are not going much deep into the into our area. They are taking shelter in the mountainous area and in the deep forests, where from they try to ambush our forces whenever they are on the movement. And then after staying few days in that area or in the adjoining areas which is heavy with the forest, that huge forests are there, then they go back.
Yes.
The pattern is very clear that after every couple of months, they have an incident of this type. And then there is a sudden stop for about a couple of months again, and the incident gets revived.
So let's be practical now. There's obviously no iron wall on the LOC, despite all the barbed wire and the night vision and infrared that is now being utilized. So obviously the first response has to be local. As Kuldeep ji has mentioned, we put on a map the areas that he's mentioned on your screens. So there's obviously a very local, hyper-local response that is going to happen. Now let me raise the bar. General Sivach, beyond that, the payback response, we don't know. I can assume it's going to happen sometime soon. But on an overall picture, do we just now treat this as the last dying symptoms as we slowly win the war on the ground? Or should there be comeuppance at a diplomatic, larger level, some action against the Pakistani army? We never seem to want to push for sanctions against the Pakistani army, similar to those sanctions against the Iranian Republican Guard, for example.
See, Rishabh, we should not take it very lightly. The point is that Rajouri Poonch area is a very important area of Jammu and Kashmir. And this area was very peaceful for almost 20 years, from 2001 to 2021. We thought that this has become a terrorist-free area. And then thereafter this Galwan took place, and then we have thinned out the troops from here. and Pakistan has activated this area because in Kashmir Valley, the normalcy has come. Our counter infiltration grid on the line of control has been very stable and very firm. And terrorists could not infiltrate, and the residual terrorists were also eliminating. Almost 40 to 50 residual terrorists are left in Kashmir Valley. The leadership of Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen wiped off. Now, seeing this, they have very cleverly opened this front of south of Pir Punjab. Now there are varieties of these areas, and which is very conducive for operating of the terrorists. One is it is very close to the line of control. Second, it is a forested area. Third is it is a mountainous area. Fourth is there are natural caves, and you can have the caching. The earlier strategy of terrorists were there. They were having a sustenance on the civil population. But of late, what they have done is that they have now in their caches have kept their stores, and they can survive for 2-3 months in these caches in forested area.
Okay.
And therefore, they are operating from there.
General Sivach, how much more can we squeeze it tactically on the ground through better patrolling, better technology, better intelligence? How much more can you squeeze it? Because you can't put an iron wall there. So you can reduce it, but how much more do we have the potential to squeeze it? Beyond that, other measures are required.
Absolutely. I say, Rishabh, we have to do 3-4 things immediately. One is that we have to increase our footprints in Rajouri and Poonch. The troops which were taken out from here must come up. Second thing is our counter-infiltration grid is very stable on line of control. It is line of control only. Possibly we have to now make it much stronger, because after all infiltration taking place. I commanded a brigade in Machal sector in line of control, so I know to say that zero infiltration is impossible. So therefore the infiltration is taking place. We have to make sure this infiltration does not take place. Third thing what we need to do is that the biggest worry is that you are finding that civilian sport is increasing in this area. That is your OGW and sleeper cell. Somewhere you have to make sure that the terrorists which are there in basically jungles, their sustenance is still with the civilians. They are the ones which are picking their ammunition weapon from the drones which are coming from Pakistan. You have to cut that. You have to make sure that the way the terrorists were isolated in Kashmir Valley, these terrorists must be isolated. And third thing is that we have to, at the large scale, now do a coordinated search operation and comb this area. The Surankot, Punjab, Poonch, Rajouri is 37 by 42 kilometers. And this has to be active now done combing, because there are caches which say that 20 to 25 terrorists, as per the Army Commander General Dwivedi, which are a Pakistani and Afghanistan trained, which are there.
Yes.
Another very important point, Rishabh, which we must understand, that there are 400 to 500 Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed terrorists sitting on a launch pad and training area very close to the LOC.
Yeah. They've been built inside civilian villages. We've received that intelligence.
Yes. Which have got weapon of America left by in Afghanistan.
Yes, because
and also they are battle hardened.
I was about to come to that. So American made weapons have been used in this attack, which you can assume have come from
M4 weapon is used, M16 is there with them. So this is the cause of worry. See, my point is, Rishabh, we should not take it lightly. I am sure DGP also knows this, that this area is a gateway to Kashmir Valley. This area does not experience heavy snowfall.
Yes. So my obvious question, and Wing Commander Bakshi, now other than the obvious immediate tactical, local and hyper-local response, which obviously has to come, a cleanup operation is happening, you'll identify which is the area that they infiltrated from, you'll strengthen the grid in that area, bring in more surveillance, more troops. So other than the obvious tactical response, at what level, at what point does it require escalation, or do we leave it at the tactical, hyper-local level?
Rishabh, thank you very much. I just request a little time.
Yeah, please.
I tell you, a lot has been said and we have been talking on it for years. We hesitate in telling the truth. The truth is that the infiltration is going on. It has not stopped. We want to make a narrative which is very pleasing to our ears. It has not stopped. Why? Because the sleeper cells are right there and they continue to be there. And why is it so? because our doctrine is defensive. We react. When they have done this, we will do this. When they attack us, we will do this. So we are always, a boxer who's always on defensive can never win. Let me tell you one thing. The generals are here. The brigade commanders have commanded that. They know very well. I have flown on that area. I know it. That area with so many trees and jungles across the area where the launching pads are there, they are within your organic fire range. With an attack helicopter and medium artillery, actually you start attacking them and occupy 6 to 7 places where they come from. Let them be on defensive. Moment they come on defensive, you will find the infiltration going down, and then start preparing a few, even 2% or 3% of POK. You find the difference in the total reaction of Pakistan. Everything will start changing. But for that, we have to write a doctrine and convince ourselves. We don't have to please the Thakurs of our country, what they want to hear. We should not do that. And secondly, let me tell you one thing. The command and control of Jammu and Kashmir area, until it's under one commander, you will never achieve this. We will always be talking about what we are talking, because sleeper cells are there at every level. Even local political level, they are there. Police level, they are there. We are hesitant in talking about it. We have to start talking about it and start changing it.
Well,
Bishop, until you do this, you will keep discussing this. I have mentioned it 3 times in the last 3 months, the same sentence.
No, well,
I'll keep doing it.
well, the integrated command and control which you're talking about, which means the paramilitary forces, which is the BSF,
But the head is
army
one.
and the police.
So it will be one head. It will be one head.
It's become a lot better, but yes, an argument can be made that it requires a more unified command and control network. We've had problems in this in the past. Hopefully, it's become better. But General Sivach, so the question is still the larger one. At what point of time do we leave it at the tactical level that an incident has occurred? It is to be treated as such, as an incident in which there has been loss of life, and the local ground troops and others go and do the counter-insurgency operations, and we leave it at that. At what point of time does this need to be escalated to a political, diplomatic level?
Absolutely. See, Rishabh, the time has come. Possibly the level has to be now increased. No doubt, the unified command in Northern Command is functioning very well, and it is under Army Command and Northern Command. General Dwivedi, the overall boss, and all the forces are in collusion with this. So, as far as Jammu and Kashmir, one thing which we can say proudly, that Army, CRPF, Jammu and Kashmir Police, they are on the same page. But what is happening is that this Rajouri Poonch area has to be taken it seriously, and since the infiltration had taken place, there are terrorists 25 to 30. Now there is a ceasefire after 21. You are not firing across until unless you do not hurt the Pakistan in their launch pad and also hit him across where the terrorists are coming. I know that the problem is not going to be resolved. Okay. What you did after Pulwama in Balakot or after Uri surgical strike, now you have got a capability of doing from your own country. You have Rafale, you have got missile from here, you have also got a weapon system which can fire and destroy their launch pad. The time has come that the destruction has to be in POJK from where these sources are coming. The infiltration is becoming more and more. Yes, another thing which you need to be proactively how to break this connection of the terrorists from the local population.
Yes.
We have resolved this issue in Kashmir, but here you find the sleeper cell and overground workers
that are still operating. Okay, so you say this requires more than the tactical response. Now let me ask the very difficult questions, and they're difficult questions because this is serious business of life and death. General Sudhakar, as we are evolving our response, what we are facing currently is the known devil. We know the infiltration, we know the caches. They now build the caches with drones other than porters, so there's a slight change, but this is a known operation. Now, is there a risk, sir, an ever-present risk, that the terrorist strategy from Pakistan may also change? There might be swarm drone attacks, potentially swarm rocket attacks. We know where they can draw inspiration from in the recent past. How do we now compute responses to these kind of things?
Absolutely, Rishabh. You have hit the nail on it. Said we are on the same page. I was just about thinking on the same issue. The only risk which India should be prepared for is a kind of a offensive which was undertaken by Hamas on 7th of October against the Israelis from Gaza Strip. So, is India prepared for a thing of that kind? I don't think so. If not, is India taking adequate measure? I hope so. And is it time bound in its completion of its preparation? I really can't say. So basically, what I'm trying to highlight, Rishabh, is it is not only the hang gliders or the motor paragliders or the motorcycles breaking across the fencing. We have a long fencing along the line of control.
Yes.
They will be able to break through, they will be able to breach despite our very agile and alert troops along the border. What I am fearing is that there is going to be a kind of a hybrid component of a conflict or warfare unleashed by Pakistanis, duly supported by China in terms of cyber offensive, electromagnetic emission to incapacitate or to dismantle or destabilize our command, control, communication means of the conventional forces that is arrayed against the line of control and biased towards the IB. Third, most important thing is the space, the autonomous support system that you just mentioned, the drones. Chinese, as on today, they have a large number and varieties of the drones.
Correct.
The latest research document I just read through is that close to Peshawar, somewhere close to the CPEG, China and Pakistan they have developed a pathogen lab. In the pathogen lab, they have developed very technologically improved mosquitoes which can be inducted into India in tropical cities or cities where it is humid.
It could be anything, right? So we have to be prepared for this. So let me put this thought to Kuldeep Khota ji. Kuldeep Khota ji, as we are evolving our counter-insurgency, we have to of course keep in mind that all the rockets that were supplied came from a Chinese factory and went all the way to Gaza under the guise of steel pipes. Now, in an adaptive environment where under Chinese advice or others, are we ready or how do we prepare for a swarm drone attack, a swarm rocket attack? What do we need to put in place in case a shock attempt is tried?
No, Rishabh, before they do that, and they are moving in that direction, China is providing covert support to Pakistan Army and the infiltrators directly now. Beyond that, Pakistan is also feeling emboldened because of the stance which at international level, the countries like Canada and US have taken. They are indirectly now supporting a terrorist or supporting terrorism indirectly by taking on the issue of the terrorists who are wanted in India and who are taking shelter in these countries. And you must have seen that Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir has gone to Washington and he has met Blinken there, the Secretary of State, the Deputy Secretary of State, he has met the Defense Secretary, he has met the Deputy NSA. Now all these international developments are also emboldening Pakistan to indulge in activities which are inimical to the interests of India. So all the more necessary what other panelists have underlined and very rightly, that India has to think in terms of a proactive action now. India can't be a silent spectator to what's happening in Rajouri and Poonch. And what are they, as you mentioned, there can be a surprise attack of a heinous nature, the type of attack which Hamas indulged in Israel. And we should scuttle it.
So let me ask Wing Commander Bakshi that question, and I'm running short of time. Wing Commander Bakshi, if the Pakistanis were to try to scale up, level up the nature of the attack, whether it be through swarm drones or a swarm rocket attack, what would they be starting off? Would they be starting off a fight that they are going to get whipped on?
they will, Rishabh, this question has been troubling our minds for a long time. They will start an operation with the help of Chinese. They will do that. First thing, they are very worried about the CPEC object projects. So they will start. And let me tell you one thing, in all modern operations, our doctrine should be very clear. The cyber, the application of drones and autonomous weapon has to be amalgamated in the normal procedure. We should have done it some time back. It should be now normal. It should not be a special effort from our side. That has to be there in SOP. And secondly, when Chinese and Pakistanis are working towards it, we must put the pressure somewhere else, like in Sindh, where Chinese are already taking interest. We have to get into that so that the pressure on Pakistan and China both is there.
Okay, so at least in theory, which is what we're discussing here, all options should be on the table. So let the people perpetuating these attacks don't think that the response is always going to be local and limited to tactical counterinsurgency and cleanup.
That's right.
Qayamat is coming one way or the other. When and where, we don't know. But as I began this conversation, if you're sitting in those forward posts along the LOC as a Pakistani ranger or a BAT unit leader or running one of those terrorist bases, you are sweating in the cold tonight.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.